Bitcoin had a crazy day yesterday and we dumped almost 6% in one day. We saw the stock market had a very big correction due to a lot of fear into the market. I see people panicking and asking, should I sell everything now? World War III is around the corner, we see the worst day since the COVID crash, and a lot of other interesting news is coming into the market. I will also discuss Vechain and Chainlink with you, but later about that in the video. So watch this video all the way to the end and let's dive right into the charts. Yesterday I was talking about Bitcoin and that we saw a bearish day. We saw the break of the $64,000 and I said if we break below this support, the $60,000 is next. And on the chart we can see we exactly reached this $60,000 target and we see a little bit of a bounce already. So this is looking very bearish, of course. We saw a big decline from the highs of the $68,000 and now we're back at below the $62,000 and we came all the way back down to the $60,000. So that's looking very bearish if you ask me. So we now want to see a clear bounce from this level and maybe reach the $64,000 resistance again. And yeah, we could maybe see something similar like this, that we're going to see a retest of this previous support to turn it into resistance and then aim for low targets. Because after this huge uptrend, we're now in somewhat of a downtrend. So yeah, we could maybe continue the downtrend. But of course, we want to see this lower side region holding strong for Bitcoin. Otherwise, we could all the way come back down to this level. And this will be around the $52,000. And that is not what we want to see, of course. So yeah, let's keep in mind that we have some support levels for now. We could see this support and another support at the $58,000. And we want to see a bounce to the top side again and create more bullish price action. But for now we are in this downtrend. So let's see what the coming days and weeks will bring for Bitcoin. And on the 4-hour time frame I was talking about this formation. We can see Bitcoin broke below this level 2 days ago, and I was expecting that we're going to see a retest of this previous support to turn it into resistance, and that's exactly what we did. And from this level you could have made an interesting short to the downside and could make a lot of interesting gains already. And from this point of the bearish retest, you could have made more than 6% to the downside in your short. So that is insane if you took this trade. And yeah, we can see a lot of touch points here in the past as resistance and support. And this was a very clear level for Bitcoin to retest. So we broke below the support, we retested this as a resistance, and then we came further back down. And yesterday we saw a huge outflow out of the Bitcoin ETFs. We saw an outflow of $237 million. So that is insane. And of course, BlackRock still is buying heavily. But the other Bitcoin ETFs like Fidelity, BitPice and ARK BTC BTF are selling like crazy. So that is yeah, a little bit bearish, of course. And we can see a little bit of a decline in the spot ETF total cumulative inflow. For now, yeah, we're seeing just one day of negative outflows after such a long consecutive days of inflows. So that is nothing to worry about in my opinion. And we're still at the 17.5 billion inflows in total. So that is beautiful to see. And the Ethereum ETFs saw a little bit of a less negative outflow. We saw an outflow of 54 million. So that is nothing to worry about. Of course, Grayscale was selling like crazy. And yeah, the reason why we saw negative outflow is because BlackRock didn't buy anything. Yeah, so let's see what the coming weeks will bring us for the Ethereum ETF. So once Grayscale is done selling, we can maybe aim for higher targets. And an interesting thing to look at is this CME gap around the $57,805. This gap was opened 2 weeks ago, and of course everyone saw that this was the weekend when Trump was getting shot in his ear, and we pumped to the top side. So the gap is still open, and yeah, we can maybe see the close of the gap eventually at this around this level. So keep in mind that we can maybe see a close of this gap and then see a more topside continuation. I'm not a big fan of these CME gaps. And yeah, a lot of people are trading around these gaps. So yeah, keep in mind that we can come all the way back down to this level and close it. And that will be around the $57,805. So this could happen maybe in the coming week, or maybe later, of course, in the coming weeks. But for now, yeah, we can expect maybe a little bit more crazy volatility because there's a lot of fear into the market and people are very emotional right now. So everything could happen in the coming days. And that's why I think there will be a lot of volatility also during the weekend. Another interesting chart to look at on the 4-hour time frame is this broadening rising wedge. I was talking about this rising wedge when we were in this consolidation formation to the top side. And this rising wedge is a typical bearish bias pattern which tends to break to the downside, as we can see here. We can see diminishing highs and the trend to the upside was getting weaker and weaker. So eventually we broke the support and we retested the support as resistance, and from there we came further back down And yeah, from this bearish retest, you could have made an interesting trade with your short. So this is a very perfect trade, and I call this trade on my socials. So congratulations if you took this trade together with me, and you could have made an interesting gains. So if you are shorting the market, a lot of people are panicking, but you are just making money because you are into your short. And yesterday we saw a very big wipeout of the stock market. We saw a 2.9 trillion wiped out from stocks this morning due to the fears of the global recession. And this is the worst day since the COVID crash of 2020. So that is insane, of course. And if we have a look on the chart, we can see we made a huge all-time high for the stock market. And the S&P is now in a very big decline to the downside. But for if we have to zoom out, we can see this is just a small bump. And eventually, I think the stock market will eventually go up because we're in this huge parabolic uptrend. I don't panic around these prices. And yeah, I'm always buying at these kind of days. Because in hindsight, these days are always the most interesting days to buy. Because we also saw a very big crash when the COVID was coming into the market. And if you bought at these kind of regions, you could have made a lot of interesting gains. So in hindsight, these red days are the most interesting days to buy. And this rising broadening wedge for Bitcoin on a daily time frame is still in play, and we can see a huge rejection from the topside resistance. And if we come all the way back down to this level, this will be around the $52,000 level, and this will be confluent with horizontal resistance around here. So this could also be a very interesting place to take a trade. And maybe enter some limit buy orders into the market and have some spot buy orders ready. So this level is a very interesting place to accumulate more Bitcoin and for the long term. So yeah, let's see if we're coming all the way back down. But of course we want to see a revisit of this topside resistance and maybe even break this pattern already to the top side. And it will be very bullish for the coming days. The first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Vechain. We can see Vechain is creating this interesting formation. We can see multiple touch points in the top side as resistance and on this downward sloping resistance line. And we can see also multiple touch points on the downside as support. And eventually this price is getting squeezed into this apex, and this apex is due in the middle of September. But of course we want to maybe see a breakout before this apex is getting reached. And we can maybe come back to this lower side support around the 2 cents. And eventually we want to see a break to the top side, a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support. And from there we can aim for higher targets. And the breakout target of this formation will be the top side of the formation, and that will be around the 5 cents. So let's see if Vechain can show a little bit more strength. And there's of course also a bearish scenario. And the bearish scenario is that we're going to see a revisit of this lower side support, eventually see a break to the downside, and then we're going to retest support as resistance and then come further back down. But that is nothing what we want to see, of course. So I'm waiting for Vechain to break out, and on the retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support, I'm interested to enter the market in the long for Vechain, and from that point you can make a lot of significant gains in your long trade. So for now we have to be a little bit patient for this apex getting reached, and we're currently in this downtrend. So let's see if Vechain can show a little bit more strength. Another altcoin I've been talking about is Chainlink. On the weekly time frame, we can see Chainlink created a lot of interesting levels. This is a very interesting level because we can see multiple touch points in the past as resistance and support. But currently we are falling down support a little bit, and we also see this head and shoulders pattern forming for Chainlink. So this is actually a bearish bias pattern because we can see a high, a higher high, and then after that a lower high. So this is a bearish pattern, and we are now seeing a little bit of a break. So let's see if Chainlink can maybe show some strength, come back above the support level, and create more topside bullish momentum from here. Because if we break below this level, we can maybe see some more bearish price action, and I think we will go all the way back down to this block of price action, and that will be around the $9 to the $4 all the way to the downside. Yeah, keep in mind that if we're going to see a break below this level of the support, we can come all the way back down to this level, and that is nothing what we want to see. We want to see a little bit more strength coming into the market for Chainlink, and eventually I think Chainlink will be a very interesting play for the coming bull market. And let me know in the comments what you think about Chainlink and what price Chainlink will reach in this bull cycle. I hope you find this video useful. Give me a like and a follow on my socials, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.